Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for waiting. Panel 5 will now begin. The panel theme is Towards Sustainability and Co-Prosperity, the Future of ESG and Blue Economy. This panel will be moderated by Professor Ta-Kang Liu of National Cheng Kung University, Taiwan. 现在我们将进入第5场专题座谈，主题为拨云见日，携手打造和谐未来。我们很荣幸邀请到刘大刚教授担任主持人，让我们掌声欢迎。
Okay, great. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ta-Kang Liu from National Cheng Kung University. I'm also a commissioner of the Ocean Affairs Council. I'm very honored to host this section as your moderator. As you can see from our topic here, towards sustainability and co-prosperity. Today, we're going to think together not just how we protect the ocean, but how we care for the ocean. Well, we have a great list of panelists here, as you can see. We're gonna talk about green carbon and then some topic ranging from natural-based solutions such as blue carbon ecosystem and community-led collaboration and conservation, and other topics like innovative financing tool such as green bond and carbon trading. And we also gonna explore the importance of international standard and third-party verification system that will increase transparency and trust. And finally, we're gonna see how collaboration across government, community, and business can really make great change for our ocean. So quickly, I'm gonna introduce our panelists. First, Minako Yue. Dr. Yue is a chairperson for Sailor from the Sea, Japan. And the second, let's give a round of applause. Second, Ifra Lev. He's a CEO for Zikura, Israel. And then Mr. Yang Ko. He's a co-founder for Y Studio. Yuan Zhou 先生, Wang Zhou Yu, a CEO for ID Water. And Diane Figueroa, you also heard her speech previously. And he's a director of innovative finance from Rare Conservation, Asia Pacific region. And then Gary Xu Pingkuan 先生, he's from Bureau Veritas, Taiwan. And also our friend from Philippines, Alita Sengalan. He's a senior expert from Philippines. And Hensang Ansori, he's an executive director from the Habibie Center, Indonesia. Okay, each panelist, I'm gonna time my clock. 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Once you hear the bell, that means you still have 30 seconds to wrap it up. If you go too long, then. And after that, we're gonna have like 10 or 15 minutes for Q&A section. So let's start with Minako, Dr. Minako Yue.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. It's Minako Yue. We would like to talk about how important the SDGs 14 to achieve the goal by 2030 is. But this is said that you have already heard that there is a least funded subject. And what is important is the multi-stakeholder collaboration and initiative is really important. But let me focus on the 3 subjects. It's the politics, business, and academia. I think that is the most important subjects amongst all. For the politics, accelerating the ratification of the international legal bindings is crucial. that we've been going to the Our Ocean Conference and then the UNOC, and then everything is happening in this, particularly this year, is very important to bind the international collaboration, especially with the PSMA Port State Measures Agreement for Fisheries, and also the WTO's eliminating the unnecessary subsidies, and the BBMJ beyond biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction for this High Seas Treaty, which is ongoing subject. And then also RFMO, then of course at Taiwan and Japan, we have shared the interest for the collaborative fisheries and that sort of things. And talking about the international society, that's the point. And then also looking back the domestic issues in Japan, that we have already reformed fisheries law implemented it in 2 years ago for the sustainable fisheries and for sustainable consumption. And on top of that, recently there's a revised regulation was implemented. It's called Umigyo, literally means the ocean business, which is to involve more business around this coastal area, not only for the fisheries or the coastal business, but also the transportation, for example, or the tourism, education, or the development of the technology, that sort of things. It's coming really new under the leadership of the current Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, called MAF, the Minister Shinjiro Koizumi. And so that's new in Japan. And also the academia is very important as well. And the science-based decision-making is crucial. And as an NGO leader, that I found that the Blue Seafood Guide, which is a sustainable seafood consumption guide, it is strictly science-based, and we published the national edition in 2013, and it's been like almost 12 years, 13 years since. And then during that period, we started to issue the regional versions as well, that to have an MOU with the local government, the prefecture government, to give them more in detail and to support their business there to evolve. And then we have the MOU with the Kyoto prefecture, Tokyo metropolitan government, and Hiroshima and Mie prefectures. And then recently we started the international collaboration with the UK government so that they can promote their sustainable fishery products, exporting to Japan, so that we receive the sustainable fishery products in Japan. So the sustainability and the blue economy are going to be the keyword to promote your products. So hopefully maybe we could do the Taiwan, Japan as well in the near future. And also, let me move on to the business sector. The ESG investment and a blue bond are the subjects. But unfortunately, in Japan, the ESG investment is very small. And I remember that they already just the previous stage said that it is not really profitable and it is a profit-making solution. So I sort of understand that is why. However, there are so many opportunities in the business sectors, and I will leave it to the rest of the speakers here, the magnificent speakers, who will tell you about all the stories and the behind-the-scenes stories as well, I think. And am I having another?
Yeah, 30 seconds.
Good. So I will leave it to you, Ari, and thank you very much for listening.
Okay, great. Thank you, Minako. Today we're gonna see how the business sector, we have 3 enterprise here. We're gonna listen their exciting example or insightful information, how the enterprise can help us to build a more sustainable blue economy. I will let you go first. Okay.
So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for having me. Before I begin, I'd like to thank the Ocean Affairs Council of Taiwan for this important gathering and for your vision in recognizing that while threats to our oceans are increasing, this is also a time for bold, intelligent action. It's not just about protecting the ocean, It's about integrating it into the very infrastructure of our future. My name is Efrat Landau Lev, and I am the CEO of Sikura, an Israeli seaweed innovation company. We've developed a scalable land-based cultivation system for ulva, commonly known as sea lettuce, that transforms this marine plant into environmental tool specifically for nitrate absorption and coastal remediation. Our mission is simple but ambitious: to turn seaweed into infrastructure. We pioneered a design, build, operate model where the primary client are governments and utilities who need to reduce nutrient pollution in order to meet regulatory compliance. Environmental impact is the product. We're now working with the Israeli National Water Authority, the Ministry for Environmental Protection, and the National Desalination Company in Israel as clients, delivering real-world projects for nitrate removal. But our vision goes beyond any one country. Seaweed should become a globally traded agri-environmental commodity. But to unlock that potential, we must build it into regulatory frameworks and infrastructure like Taiwan's Ocean Sustainability Blueprint and Net Zero targets. Let me explain the urgency behind this vision. Our oceans are in crisis from excessive nitrate pollution caused by agricultural runoff, industrial discharge, and untreated sewage. These pollutants fuel global toxic algal blooms. They degrade marine ecosystems and threaten food security and public health. But here's where harmony comes in, as we discussed yesterday. Nature doesn't just collapse, it tries to restore itself. Harmful algal blooms may seem like chaos, but they are also signals, part of nature's own correction mechanism. What if we could work with that force instead of against it? At Sikura, we see seaweed not just as a symptom, seaweed as algal blooms, not just as a symptom, but as a solution, a way to capture nutrients, reoxygenate water, and even sequester carbon, all while producing valuable biomass that can serve agriculture, aquaculture, food systems, and even the cosmetics industry. Let me give you two quick examples from Israel. One is the proof of concept we held with the National Desalination Company in Israel. We demonstrated how land-based ulva farms can absorb nitrate-rich brine discharge from desalination, turning waste into value. And then we went on a full-scale project with Mekorot, the Israeli National Desalination Company, and is now underway. Our 50,000 square meters of ulva farm will remove over 10 tons of nitrates annually for the next 10 to 15 years. Supporting regulatory compliance while producing biomass for agri inputs. These projects weren't just technical, they were designed with policy, regulation, and long-term partnership. That's how we believe scalable ocean tech must evolve. And that brings me here to Taiwan. We see enormous opportunity to collaborate with the public sector here, particularly with the forward-thinking institutions like the Ocean Affairs Council. Taiwan has the vision, the need, and the infrastructure. We would be honored to explore a pilot project together to demonstrate how land-based seaweed farms can align with national environmental goals while offering practical solutions for nitrate mitigation, coastal health, ESG goals, and blue economy innovation. In closing, I invite you all to rethink seaweed not just as food, but as a service embedded in how we manage water, protect coastlines, and design circular infrastructure. The ocean doesn't need us to save it. It needs harmony and integrating so it can save us. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. So our next enterprise, Mr. Younger, you can go ahead.
Hello, I'm Yanko from Y Studio.我会使用中文来做这次的分享，然后当然很期待大家拿到的很酷的即时翻译的系统这样子。那首先我要介绍一下，我刚刚很开心的在会场跟很多在场的朋友相认了，然后他们问我们在做什么的，那我说我们是做很棒的废弃物回收做成的产品的品牌，然后所以我就拿出我的笔跟大家相认这样子，然后在场的朋友说哦 ，You are the pen guy， 因为我们近期很荣幸成为海委会近期送给各个外宾朋友的礼物这样子。那我一直觉得就是这两天听到很多很棒的政策、很棒的研究、很棒的永续的议题的分享，然后当然这也回到我们自己的初心，就是我们很喜欢我们做的事情，就是我们是做实体产品的人，然后这也是实际上真正产品的魅力，就是当我们有很多很棒的刚刚说到大家的政策，很多很棒的分享，那这些灵魂如果都能够真正回到商业，真正回到商业市场，真正的成为许许多多小生意的人们所创造的物件回到人们甚至大众的手中，我们大家一起在很努力的呼吁跟也很努力要创造的可能性，针对海洋针对永续的意义才有可能实现。那我们的 Y Studio 其实分成2大块最主要的动能，第一个是我们是一个至今大概12年的品牌，然后我们卖到这是一个小品牌，但我们卖到全世界36个国家，我们透过10个代理商，主要迈向欧洲跟美洲的市场，然后我们每年都会做巴黎展。那这样子的动能也让我们持续思考说，我们在自己的岛上，我们在自己的生活之中有什么真正重要的价值可以被这样小小的动能给引燃。所以我们在近年持续投入永续材料的发展，包含我们加入了海废再生联盟，我们跟联盟里面的伙伴议会塑胶合作，然后我们用废弃的渔网重新做这支笔，然后这个系列叫海洋永续系列。那这个系列也持续的发展出数个新的全新产品系列。那它在近几年的巴黎展、美洲的展览，甚至是很多国家美丽的选品店、博物馆、商店，都受到代理商跟客户的推崇。那这也回到了我们自己目前的另外一块的主题，就是我们目前也有许多不同的废弃物回收的相关去化或做成产品的专案，包含跟台电的合作，包含近期开始跟北美馆的合作，甚至我们跟全球知名的咖啡企业 Nespresso 也用他们废弃的胶囊打碎之后重新设计成新的礼赠品。那这也是我在这场里面想很快速跟大家分享的一个有趣的我们自己最近的一个省思啦。我们常问自己说，作为一个我们当然作为一个这个产业里面想要对永续做有所付出的人，我们会觉得这是一个很棒的议题。但我常常问自己，回到一个消费者端，如果一个东西加入了永续材料，它要多卖我100块的话，无论是100块台币或是100块的任何币值，它可能是增加10%的一个价格的话，我会愿意消费吗？答案常常是不愿意的。所以我们需要在制作产品，甚至在无论在各种策略的时候去引领市场，让消费者慢慢可以接受这件事情。所以我们在近期的计划里面，其实更加专注的推向了 B to B 的不同的专案。为什么会这样说呢？原因是因为我们观察到，其实在全世界 B to B 的 gift， 甚至是不同的材质的产品的市场，其实持续扩大，而且是以100亿美金的规模在持续的成长。而各个大的组织跟企业，甚至政府都有相关 ESG 跟相关的目标需要实践。那这个时候就会是我们这样子的创意团队加入的时候。那我们常常开玩笑说，我一直都相信台湾是一个工程师之岛。海废再生联盟里面，甚至我们认识的很多厂商都有很强大的力量，开发出各种各样的材质，跟海洋的甚至不同的企业的废弃物，可以被做成回到消费市场的可能性的素材。那我们自己的团队其实是一个 creative team， 我们其实是为了这些事情再重新回到市场上去寻找解方跟有趣的符合企业所有的永续目标的一个价值的分享。那以上是我的分享，谢谢。
Thank you, Younger. Our third guy from the business sector, 余万洲 please.
好，大家下午好。那我是ID Water 的创办人 Alan。 我们公司是做智慧养殖，然后把这样的循环废水结合去灌溉红树林的种植，好的一间公司。那我们现在在台湾大概有7个公顷的养殖场，然后也上方的屋顶都是结合了 solar panel。然后我们在缅甸大概有种了1100万棵的红树林，然后是由国际最大的认证公司 Verra 认证的。那这个认证完的碳权，我们在有上架台湾碳权交易所。新加坡碳权交易所，还有与英国的采购商 Alba Table， 每年大概有2到3万吨的 carbon credit 的交易。好，那我们的碳权的 carbon credit 的评级也受到英国的 B0 的评级机构是 Double A 的这个评级。好，所以目前我们销售给的对象像是 TSMC， 或是台达电。在台湾富邦金控、国泰金控等等。那在欧洲的话，我们大概是销售给一些像是丹麦航空啊、海运公司啊，或是一些 luxury 的品牌，还有一些达美航空也有卖到美国去这样子。那我们陆陆续续想要在柬埔寨，还有我们今年年初拿到柬埔寨的土地，大概是1万多公顷。种树的面积都比较大，那它才会有经济效益。然后我们也在每一个案场、每一个 project 里面，我们都会想要去separate 大概 50% 以上的这个 carbon revenue，去给 local community 跟我们的local government。那剩下的部分才会是一些 investor。毕竟这是一个需要商业参与的一个状态，所以我们还是要分享给我们的投资人，有来自杜拜，来自英国，也来自台湾跟 Singapore。那我们最近比较挑战的一个案子呢，是要去我们公司刚入选了沙烏地阿拉伯的他们主权基金的一个加速器，他们想要在红海，就是那个 Red Sea 去种植5000万棵5,000 hectares 的这个 project。那这都是让我们非常兴奋的事情，因为其实种红树林。它不只是会产生这个固碳的效益，它还会有我们常常会看到一片荒地，然后我们种2、3年后，我们看到是很多小鱼、小虾、小螃蟹，它可以在里面去繁殖，然后我们可以让这种大家可以想象一下，就是我们要在超级偏远的地方，我们才有办法拿到这么大面积的种植地，所以当地的人们他们其实都离城市非常的远。什么意思呢？就是他们很难找到工作，或是一个好的收入 income 的工作。所以同时我们也解决了当地的就业机会的问题，然后也让当地的社区能够有可持续工作。因为我们可以一直种之外，他们要维护这个森林，要保护这个森林，我们会付一些基本的维护费等等这些给这个当地的 local community。然后在种完树以后，我们就开始会去计划要去盖养殖场，因为传统的红树林它在一般河口是种得起来的，但是在一般的海岸线是种不起来的。一般海岸线有土地有水，但它缺乏一个非常重要的就是 nutrition， 它缺少营养。那如果我们想想看，如果我们能够在旁边盖养殖场产生经济活动之外，我们有大量的废水能够去提供这个营养的话，那它是一个连一般的海岸线都可以种出红树林的概念。这是我们公司接下来会非常 focus 的地方。那以上就是我今天的分享，感谢大家，谢谢。
Great, you were just in time. Okay, the audience, we just heard 3 great stories. One is the restoration of the seaweed, and then we have recycling of the marine debris, the fishing net, and also the restoration of mangrove. Now, Diane, it's your turn. You're going to tell us how to strengthen the enterprise in the blue economy. You can go ahead.
So I'm really happy that I came after 3 enterprises. So I think the earlier session, they started to talk about enterprises or startups. But yeah, I'm happy that we actually have actual enterprises here. So I just really want to reiterate what was already pointed out earlier, that the role of MSMEs in really helping us come up with a more inclusive blue economy. I just did a bit of research and found that in Taiwan, MSMEs make about more than 98% of all businesses, and you actually provide around 80% of the workforce. And as you can see, as you've heard earlier, in terms of blue economy, the business model is really local, it's nature-based, and it's really dependent on small players. I actually want to really have a chat with you later, because I only hear that, like benefit sharing for communities, I only hear that in conferences, but we have actual and like workable, investable, model in intelligent agriculture. This reminds me of, I'm not sure who said this yesterday, but it really struck me, and who said, watch out for small organizations, then they can have outsized impacts. Oh, that's you. Okay, I need to cite you for this. So thank you very much for that insight. And I think you may be talking about, I think, marine governance, but that's also very much applicable to MSMEs, because that's where the innovation happens. Just look at their products, and that's where livelihoods are really built, durable livelihoods. But then I guess with the portfolio for 3 enterprises, they might not have some of these challenges might not really be applicable to them. But for those who are really just really starting, some of you are already 12 years in the business, so I think you're already qualified for larger investments. But many of these MSMEs, they still operate in a market that treat nature as free input. So like any service that you provide, like reduction in like marine debris or desalination, they're not really reflected in the balance sheet. But yes, of course, those services are very essential. And then I mentioned earlier in my sharing that capital is out there, but of course our MSMEs, they still have limited access to it, because of course they're always thought of as unbankable. So maybe as an example, because you're asked to share like one specific example, Rare, we actually launched some like 2017, and it's still ongoing. We designed and launched impact investment fund. It's called Malloy Fund, and we really target or provide capital for coastal and like fishery-based micro and small medium enterprises. And I think what's really important is that on top of the capital, there has to be a strong technical assistance component to the capital. So what we do, for instance, we also supported a lot of seaweed companies, and we provide technical assistance on really how to make them like more open or more attractive to export market, because they're ESG aligned, or that they are using sustainable seaweed farming practices and all that. We also help, for instance, another like shrimp tech company who tried to build a data infrastructure, and they were trying to really make sustainable sourcing protocols. And as a result of that, it's really good to know that as a result of the technical assistance, they graduated from point A to point B, from being like a great idea to actually an investable idea. So I think I would like to end by saying that there are no shortage of good ideas, only a shortage of support. So I hope that they could be actually mentors. We are doing something in the Philippines, trying to help startups, and I think I have 3. I'm gonna get in touch with you, 3 mentors to really make them graduate from just really startup good idea into actual investable business ideas. So I think I'll stop there and pass it on to my colleague.
Okay, great. Thank you for Diane for sharing insightful information on how the enterprise can help in the blue economy. Now, Gary, it's your turn to tell us about the certification system, how to ensure transparency.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Liu, and all attendees here. And I'm Gary Shi from Bureau Veritas, a third-party certification company. Our mission aims to work with our client to meet the global standards of fishery industry. In the past, to promote the blue economy, the company needs to follow the global international standard, such as greenhouse gas inventory refers to ISO 40064, and ESG refers to GRI standards, and the fishery sustainability refers to MSC standards. What we do is to verify if the company meets the international standards, and if they meet the standard, we can issue the certificate. And the certificate can provide to the stakeholders, such as the investor, the customer, and the government, and also the NGO, and to ensure the transparency and the credibility on blue economy development. The fact is, Taiwan's fishery plays an important role in the global supply chain because most of our fish catch are exported to the foreign countries. The company to responding to global issues like climate change and the blue economy and get certified is very important. I give an example of our work in the past year. In the end of 2024, we work with our client to complete the first greenhouse gas inventory for fishery company in Taiwan by science-based calculation, including greenhouse gas emission and the reduction from overseas fishing and transportation at the sea and the seafood processing. Based on the verified result, the company can claim to their action to their client and their investors, and of course the government and the NGO, and to step ahead in global market. And in the challenge of our Taiwan's fishery, we are on the way to do science-based management to eliminate overfishing, illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. That is also important. It is the issue of concern of seafood customer, investor, and the government. I'll give another example of what we do. We provide the electronic observer service review, and we work with many Taiwan fishery companies this year. What we do is we review their fishing activity to identify the non-compliance behavior, such as prohibited species and marine pollution and unfair treatment to crews. And we record them in a report to provide to the fishery company so the company can have a clear direction to improve their fishery management. So by our experience, we would like to provide the certification service to add value for the fishery supply chain, like greenhouse inventory, ESG report, and fishery sustainability certification to demonstrate the action on the blue economy development. And it is what I'm sharing today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Now, Elita, it's your turn to share your perspective from the Philippines experience. Please.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank the organizer, like especially the OAC team with Deputy Minister Wang here. And so a great extent of my experience is on biodiversity conservation and establishment of protected area. So, and I also include in my job is the policy formulation. So as I go along with our topic, environmental, social, and governance, or the ESG, and the blue economy, advancing sustainability and co-prosperity. I'd like to briefly share 3 key points from my perspective. First, I have here the ESG in relation to blue economy. So ESG should be able to integrate marine specific indicators like the biodiversity health, coastal resilience, and community well-being. To ensure, so it will ensure that investment in ocean sector promote both sustainability and equity. The integration of ESG frameworks of the biodiversity health by integrating this marine specific sector, investments and policy makers can be able to drive responsible blue economy growth, providing safeguard to the natural capital while delivering sustainable economic services. And the next one is the nature-based solution as assets, or the NBS. So, like in the Philippines, we have mangrove restoration, seagrass regeneration, passive coral reef recovery. We have that. That is our 3 major ecosystems. So when we do that, we have strong returns in carbon sequestration, fisheries recovery, and disaster risk reduction. These major ecosystems not only act as natural buffers against storm surges and coastal erosion, but it also supports livelihood and it enhances biodiversity. Such nature-based approaches offer cost-effective, scalable model that can be adapted to strengthen coastal resilience, especially in the face of climate-related hazards and marine ecosystem degradation. Now, my 3rd key point is on community governance and small-scale biodiversity-aligned livelihoods. So, in the Philippines, we have locally managed marine protected areas. And on the side, on the government, we have the establishment of marine protected areas. Now, for these small-scale biodiversity-aligned livelihoods, we have seaweed farming, as said by my co-participant or co-panelist here, so such as ecotourism and sustainable fisheries. So it offers a path to inclusive blue growth. These initiatives empower coastal communities to become stewards of their marine resources while generating sustainable income. Strengthening local governance structures and providing capacity building support are essential to ensure these enterprises remain environmentally sound, economically viable, and socially equitable. Now, I have to give some example from the Philippines. So, we have their mangrove restoration project, plus the blue carbon pilot. So, multi-sectoral initiative restored 1,200 hectares of mangrove in eastern Visayas and now preparing for blue carbon credit registration in the voluntary market. We have also community-led marine protected areas. Over 1,900 locally managed MPAs that exist in the country. So Apo Island in the Visayas also is a model that has demonstrated ecological and economic benefits over decades. So I also want to share with you the case study from the this is small-scale fisheries governance. So in the Philippines, we also have alternative form of managing the protected area. Like we have this is a collaborative effort with acknowledgement that both the government and the locals, communities had a role to play in the management of fisheries resources. So this is a case study, the Siete Picados Marine Protected Area in Coron, Calamianes Group of Islands in Palawan Province. Fishing is the dominant industry and source of livelihood in Coron. It's an island. The tourism industry is also growing. So, and then we have the number three example of
Alita, I guess
I'm
you
okay.
can save it for later
it's okay.
for the Q&A.
Yeah.
Thank you for Alita for sharing her great example from Philippines. Now our final panelist, Hassan, you're gonna help us wrap it up, please.
Thank you. Mr. Moderator. Good afternoon. I am Muhammad Hassan Ansori from the Habibie Center. It is the think tank that was established by President Habibie, the third President of Indonesia. So again, thank you for the invitation. If we, I'm following and listening all the, panel from the previous panel until right now. But I guess there is one thing that really missing, and this is the one that will connect. I would like to connect to the President Lai speech last Tuesday. So if we take it very seriously and try to reflect on President Lai's speech last Tuesday, there is one thing and one word that President Lai keep repeating, and the word is very important. It is democracy, and I think President Lai is very right and very reasonable, especially regarding the position of Taiwan, especially if we refer to the Freedom House or the economic intelligence, because there is only four countries in the world, in Asia and Oceania that have full democracy. It is Japan, Taiwan, Australia, and New Zealand right now, and the rest of them are fully partially democracy, hybrid authoritarian, including Indonesia, and others are fully partially democracy. Why I talk democracy? Because actually and in principle, democracy provides the very basic framework and ingredient when we talk about blue economy and also the ESG. I think this is a provide the macro framework of the blue economy and also ESG. If we talk democracy in the development of blue economy, so we can find like social justice and equity, community resilience, healthy communities and environment, workforce development, and energy democracy, which is included participation, accountability, transparency, and also family sustaining livelihood. If we consider all these norms and principle of democratic principle, we see all these norms actually, this is the basic foundation of ESG and blue economy. And one thing I think there is one word that right now have been very universally accepted by the people, or regardless of their religion, whether they're Jewish, Muslim, whatever, or they're African, American, or thing. When we talk about sustainability, everybody in the world right now they can accept the word. But we talk democracy, some other people they probably reject. But we talk sustainability, so Chinese and any other people, they can accept the word right now. Why? Because everybody right now, people right now, we can see that our planet and our Earth, right now become unsecure and not safe any longer and not healthy. This is important, especially for the Indonesia, the blue economy and the ESG implementation. We see that Indonesia is one of the world's largest archipelagic nation. And we have, and 70% of the Indonesian territories are waters. So this is the reason why Indonesia become a pivotal point of the blue economy, and the blue economy and resource economy right now, one of the biggest contributor the Indonesian to the Indonesian GDP, and right now have been working really hard, to restore the ocean health and extracting the development of sustainable economy. But one thing that if we listen all the thing, there are other some when we talk, there are some other challenges that have been raised by the previous panelists. When we talk blue economy, so we see the finance, the technology, and innovation. But but right now the ESG principle, especially ESG principle, right now has gained a significant momentum recently, not only in Indonesia but also across ASEAN. Because we would like to talk, give a progress and a dynamic of the ESG principle in Indonesia and ASEAN, because the Southeast Asian region and also broad in the Pacific is one of the most diverse and heterogeneous region in terms of the wealth, culture, and everything. So the ESG principle and the blue economy become a very pivotal way of how the development and the operation of business in ASEAN. And interestingly, a couple and a number of studies indicate actually the positive relation between the ESG performance and the company's stock performance returns. So the company that have a good and strong ESG implementation, they so mostly exhibit also a good stock return actually, and this is good news, and it is important as well to highlight that the embracing ESG principles should be seen not just as ethical imperative, but should be treated as strategic necessity for government business to achieve the climate target. And in ASEAN, for instance, because it is important to see this kind. It's over? No, I didn't hear anything.
I think you have a lot to share, but we can leave it to
Okay,
the
no
Q&A.
problem. Thank you, Alan.
Okay, all the panelists has delivered their message. We have some great example from the enterprise, and you heard the voice from the governmental perspective and from the community. So here, I guess all of you, probably some of you want to ask questions. And I was instructed that I can extend a little bit. So I'm going to borrow some of your time. I hope I can close it at now 2:53. We can close it at 3, okay? I'm borrowing your time, but I'm not returning it. Okay, some question? Okay, the gentleman.
Hi, yes, I'm John Bradford. So my question is to Pak Hasan. I think very famously, your previous president had a very strong policy, the maritime fulcrum policy. And sometime during that presidency, that policy seemed to fall off the agenda, although perhaps implemented quietly in some ways. So in the wake of the end of that policy and a new president, do you see a real opportunity, or do you see any opportunity, or maybe I should say any likelihood, that Indonesia can really center blue economy on its future? And the second part of the question is, if so, could Indonesia, being the largest archipelagic nation in the world, be in a position to show leadership to our region? Thank you very much. Hassan, I will invite you,
Thank you, Professor John. I think you are right. And especially the maritime fulcrum, this was become one of the important agenda for the President Joko Widodo actually. And it is also the thing that President Joko Widodo always highlighted during G20 presidency, and it's very strongly, and put into the how the blue economy framework. But by the time we have President Prabowo right now, but we haven't listened yet any vision or mission, especially a broader framework of President Prabowo relating to the maritime resources. But at least actually one thing that I heard, they want to push what concept that President Prabowo introduced. It is what we call the maritime continent. So we see Indonesia, which is 70% of the water, but we need to look at as the continent, united continent. So maritime continent. And it is totally, differentiate from traditional continent, which is mostly, consists of land. But this is, I think, new vision that was introduced by President Prabowo as the maritime continent. So probably this different concept or different, but I think maritime still become the main vision of both president, but a different way of framework. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions from the audience or a comment? It's a great opportunity to learn from the best. So any other questions? We still have 3 minutes left. No? Oh, you want to share some take-home message? Oh, you want to ask questions? Okay, go ahead.
Just wondering, because you're in the certification, and they always say that when you have a certification, that increases the credibility, that increases. So do you actually monitor, like, what was the advantage over, like, your clients who got your certification? What were the benefits to them in terms of increased investability or bankability?
Okay, very good question. And what do we see to our client we'll see the management system from their policy. If the policy is supposed to meet the global sustainability standard, and we look into their procedure, and also we look into their record for what they do, they have to show me the evidence, and we record the evidence of what we see, and until all the requirements are met, and we can issue the certificate, and they can show our certificate from BV to their stakeholders, like the customer or investors or NGO or government, to see, okay, we meet the such kind of the standards. Yeah, that is what we work. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for very interesting and insightful speeches. I would like to address my question to Mr. Yu. You just mentioned that your speech that you have a project in Vietnam regarding a mangrove, right? So I would like to ask questions. Do you see any political obstacle or any legal or regulatory obstacle to your projects in Vietnam right now? That's my question. Thank you.
Actually, I don't have project in Vietnam. My project is in Myanmar and Cambodia. Yeah, so any legal obstacle, I think if you want to doing business in other countries, first things that we care is, can we do some benefit for the local government or local community? Because most of the time they spend is in our project, but we are only doing international connections. Like we share our connection with our verifications company called Veras, And also we connect with the United Kingdom's investor, Dubai's investor too. And but the investor, what they care is so different from the verification company. So we organized all these projects, players together, and the local community and the local government, they just want to make sure that most of the value, most of the revenue is will take from the project to benefit them, and also sometimes we need to bring some technology. Like we are trying to bring some water sensors and image recognition systems to recognize the how fast the mangrove grows, and it's like a traditional way to verify the carbon credit. They call MRV, measurement reporting verifications. But right now we talk to the Veras CTO. We want to do DMRV, digital MRV. So sometimes the government will really exciting about the new technology implement to the like the ESG project or nature-based solution projects. That's we always want to mention to the local community and the local government. And then once you get rid of all these bad thing issues or the profit issues, they will help you. And that is not a problem, I think. Yeah.
Okay, I guess time is up. Please give a big round of applause for the panelists. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening.
Before the end of the session, may you join for a group photo? We will now enter a 20-minute break. The next speech will begin at 3:20. 接下来是休息时间，下一场分享将于3点20分准时开始。谢谢。